Jen.
How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. You know why I'm here?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Right on. What have you been up to lately?
Gosh, like everybody else, surviving the pandemic.
How? How are you surviving the pandemic?
Uh, Probably walking my dog. Walking my dog has been really the savior for exercise, for mental health, everything.
Do you walk your dog here?
Oh yeah, we love to come to the beach.
Where
She
are we?
loves running at the beach.
Where are we right now?
We're in Santa Cruz. That's the boardwalk.
What do you love about this location?
Oh my gosh, I love the beach. It's I grew up on the East Coast on the beach in Cape Cod, and so that's always been a part of me. And so I always love living close to it. And seriously, I'm here on the beach in Santa Cruz County 5 times a week at some point or another.
Nice. So lucky. What's the first thing you think about when you first wake up?
When I first wake up, the first thing I think about is what I'm going to pack in the kids' lunch that day. What do we have in the house that I can pack for their lunches?
Prior to joining NBC Bay Area, where else have you worked?
I have worked in Boston. I worked in Berlin, Germany. I worked in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota for 5 years. Back to Boston. Worked in LA for a cup of coffee. And then I've been in the Bay Area for more than 15 years now.
What's the best thing about hosting the Bay Area Proud segment?
The best thing about Bay Area Proud is the people I get to meet. I mean, I spend my days talking to nice people who do good things for other people. And that's a great way to spend your day.
How can your Bay Area family support you when you're doing that?
I always need ideas. Simply put, if you know somebody who's done something nice for somebody else, let me know about it. That's the only way I'm going to find out. I think people sometimes think we have this magical source of information, like they'll find out somehow. No, it's just people giving me a call, sending me a note on social media, an email, whatever. Those are always the best stories come that way.
Garvin, how long have you been a television journalist?
32 years. That's a long time.
What do you love most about your job?
The thing I think that so for 32 years, I have loved coming to work every day, no matter what job, whether it was Bay Area Proud or whatever I did before. And I think the reason for that for me has been I get to be creative in my job with writing and photography and all that kind of stuff. So I think when you have a job that also doubles as your creative outlet, I think that's wonderful. And that's, gets you going each day because you're challenged every day. How am I going to do it differently? And I think that's what I've loved about it.
Nice. Are you most creative in the morning or the night?
I am most creative when facing a deadline.
Garvin, where were you born?
I was born in Washington, D.C., but grew up mostly on Cape Cod in Massachusetts.
Oh, where do you live now?
Live in Santa Cruz County.
Nice. What do you love most about the Bay Area?
The weather, one. I often joke, so when I go back home east or back to where I grew up, and you can have like the most spectacular weather day in Massachusetts, and you come back to the Bay Area and that's like an average Tuesday. So I love the weather, and I love the fact that just you are always a short drive away from the beach, the redwoods, the mountains, wine country, the city. It's like there's so much variety and beauty just within a short drive.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you want to go?
Well, I did. Many years ago, my wife and I, before we had kids, we quit our jobs and we backpacked around the world for a year. And we went to spend an entire year on the road, made it all the way around the globe, and visited 20 countries along the way.
Wow. Which one was your favorite?
We really had a goal when we started. The idea was we wanted to get, everybody says, I want to get off the beaten path, and I want to go to the places where tourists don't go and meet the people who tourists don't meet. And some places that was surprisingly hard. No matter how far off you thought you got the beaten path, there was still that tourist dynamic. But the moment we landed in Mongolia, there is no beaten path in Mongolia, so there's no way to get off it. There is. So we achieved really kind of that goal. We hitchhiked around Mongolia for 5 weeks, and so that is always a special place for us, is kind of the place where we achieved the goals of our travel. As you can imagine, there are amazing experiences everywhere, but that one, we always have a soft spot for that place.
Wow. What exciting adventures are you currently working on now these days?
The family, now that the pandemic is hopefully winding down, the family is planning a summer trip to Alaska. And I'm excited particularly because Alaska, this will be the 50th state that I've been to in my life. I've been to 49 so far. This will be the last one to check off the list.
Wow. That's awesome. What kind of music did your parents listen to when you were growing up?
Gosh, I still remember. I mean, I'm old enough that they were albums and a record player, but I remember the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, and the Mamas and the Papas were ones that I remember putting on the turntable, putting on the headphones. Even to this day, like the Mamas and Papas records, I could sing every word.
Nice.
I won't, but I could.
What high school and college did you go to?
On Cape Cod in Massachusetts, I went to Dennis Yarmouth Regional High School, which everybody called DY. We were the Dolphins. And then for college, I went to Boston College.
Did you have a favorite teacher you want to shout out?
I was never that I was never that dedicated a student. So no, there wasn't any kind of teacher throughout that really stuck with me. It was only really kind of when I got my first job and entered the work world, and a light bulb go off and say, hey, this is what I was meant to do.
Nice. Hey Garvin, what's your favorite restaurant in the Bay Area?
The nearest one to me that's serving fish tacos.
What's your favorite restaurant on the boardwalk?
Guilty pleasure are the deep fried Oreo cookies.
Ooh. How many stories total do you think you have produced?
Actually, with Bay Area Proud, I don't have to think because I've kept count, and it's as we stand here now, it's more than 600. I think 636 at the moment, and come January 2022, Bay Area Proud will celebrate its 10th anniversary, 10 years of doing those stories.
Wow. Is it true that you do everything? Like you write, report, photograph, edit, anchor all your own stories?
Yeah. It's in the business, we call it one-man band, plays all the instruments.
Nice. How would you describe your music dream playlist?
I get influenced by what my parents had around, but I always find myself drawn to an era would be like early 70s pop music. It all seems like music that has a lot of trumpets in it, or like big horn sections, or so the band Chicago, but like Burt Bacharach, Dusty Springfield,
nice.
Kind of stuff like that from the early 70s. I find myself drawn to.
Garvin, would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button?
Oh, definitely a pause button.